Yeah. Now it's going up. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Sustainiacs. I am Michael Vincent. She is Diana Lloyd Johnson, or no, Lloyd Jones Thomas. Is that
Correct.
right? Do you use all
Lloyd-Jones,
four?
maiden name, Diana Thomas, current name. But some people know
Oh,
me as
okay.
Diana Lloyd-Jones. Some people know me as Diana Thomas.
Fantastic. Well, they're going to know you as Diana, the really cool Sustainiac after this, is what it's going to
I
be.
love that.
It's going to be awesome. So, I mean, your LinkedIn thing, that's where I found you, I think, or something. I don't know. But you're a strategic communication, circular solutions, plastics innovation, food systems improvement. You're all doing all those kind of things that are really super cool, but you're also the sustainability manager at BioLogic. Is that right?
Yeah, yep. I kind of think of myself as like not a jack of all trades, but definitely a Jill of all trades when it comes to sustainability. It's at least in like the very narrow road of food systems and then the systems that connect to it, right? So waste, plastics are actually really connected with food. And when we think of
Oh,
waste, we
yeah.
think of
In
like
many more ways than people understand, right?
so much, so much. So I know a lot in a lot of different. I know a little bit in a lot of different industries, but I'm by no
Gotcha.
means an expert in any specific field.
Thank you. And that's the program, people.
Yep, there you go. Let's do it.
So you're a lot like an internet Google search.
You know, I, I think I'm a little more random than those internet Google
Even
searches you
more
get,
random,
and a
right?
little
So
more,
there's
and
no
a little more inspired, a little more motivated than
no
your
no
general
algorithms
Google.
involved, huh? No algorithms involved at
No
all with
algorithms
you.
involved. Pure passion, pure drive.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I mean, there's all right. So what do we? Your composting manufacturing alliance as well, which is I guess you're a membership there, right? Is that right? Or
So
account
before
member?
this role, I've been with BioLogic for about a year and a half now.
Yeah. So let's get
And
into that. How long you been there? And what do they do? Or what
yeah,
do you do?
so BioLogic,
They
we're a bioplastics manufacturer. So if anybody in listening is uh, worked in the world of plastics or composting or compostable products, we manufacture what we call new plastic, which is basically an advanced thermoplastic starch. So when we think about plastics that are made from plants that can compost, that can kind of create a circular system within plastics, we use the starch from plants to create a carbon neutral biopolymer. And we can use that biopolymer with other bioplastics or other traditional plastics too to provide a number of benefits. So, if we're talking like compostables, we can really help to potentially lower the carbon footprint, help it biodegrade faster or break down faster in composting systems. And if we're talking more traditional plastics, we can help to immediately improve the sustainability index of those products. So, lower
So it could
carbon
be a
footprints.
filler. It's a
Yeah,
it's a filler for other polymers, whether they be bio or well, I mean they're all bio
yeah.
actually. I mean,
It's
let's
like
go.
it's a
Petroleum is
partner.
actually a bio product, okay?
Yeah, it's a
But
partner in. Yeah, exactly. So it really helps to add plant based content. Helps
yeah,
companies to shift if they say I want to be more sustainable, but I also need a product that performs. Well, we can help maintain the performance. Use your existing infrastructure in terms of your operations and your equipment, but it'll help you immediately make improvements to more renewable content, defossilizing, fewer microplastics because when it's made from plants, at least ours being purely starch, it directly reduces the microplastic potential by that amount in the final product. So
correct.
pretty
But
cool
so
stuff.
you're not making pens out of your product. Your product is in combination with the polymers and or biopolymers in order to make them better. You're kind of like the BASF, right? We don't make the light bulb, we make the light bulb better,
Yes,
right? Is that
yes, exactly. We
the
don't
concept?
directly manufacture the products, but our product is in a ton of products. So some easy ones to throw out there is like the Canon calculator. One of their newest models uses our resin in the specific design, and then the
Oh, that's
Trek.
fantastic.
Yeah, Trek Bio water bottles, a lot of single use plastics, so like lip balm tubes, super easy. And then, compostable packaging, flexible films. So we're in a lot of things that are just out in the world, but we don't actually make those things. We make the partner resin that helps to make those things work.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, are you compounding different? Excuse me. Are you compounding different recipes of your product for them, or do you make a single recipe and then they figure out how to dose it into their systems and
We do
do that
we do a
suite?
little bit of both. So we do have some
A little bit.
compounding. The actual manufacturing of our advanced TPS starch, like that's kind of our bread and butter. But we do provide a lot of compounded blends that we call bio blends to just help
Uh
make
huh.
it easier down the supply chain line as well. So yeah, we honestly love working with people down the supply chain to say, all right, what product are you trying to make? What's your goal? Are you trying to use more renewable materials? Are you trying to meet certain global or corporate, sustainability targets? What are those goals, and how can we help you design the right formula using plant-based content to get you there?
Yeah, yeah, that is super super interesting. So why yeah, we get into all those questions later. I just want to understand more of what you guys what you guys are doing. What are you making it out? I mean, starch. Okay, so most people think starch. Okay, potatoes.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's actually why we're based out of Idaho Falls, so we can be super
get
close
out of
to
town. Is it
that
really? You
base.
mean
Yeah, legitimately. Yeah, we wanted to be close to the farmers that were producing our base materials. So like potato starch, corn starch, and it's actually really cool. Like we can use starches as like a form of ag waste. So it's a great tool to reduce global food waste in that sense and make something valuable out of it. And it also works great. I'll just throw it out there too with like recycled content, like using our plant-based materials in conjunction with recycled polymers can help restabilize and make them easier to make more new products with.
what is it? So it improves the performance of the polymers, so that you don't have that degradation and integrity of containers, et cetera, with it.
Yeah, it
Is
makes
that what
it
you're talking
easier to
about?
work with when you're reprocessing recycled
Yeah,
content because like recycled content it's basically like a fruit punch, right? Of plastic material. Like
yeah.
what polymers you're specifically working with and in what
We
combinations.
used to call it Harry Buffalo in college, but yeah, I
Yeah,
get what you're saying.
exactly. But so adding some content that you know what it is, that you know how it works, can just help make all of the the stabilization process a lot easier and a lot more like you know what to expect.
Yeah, can it extend the amount of times that plastic or polymer can be recycled
That's a really
for
good
its.
question. I don't know. And
You don't know. Okay.
yep. And I'm the type of person that's like, you know what, if I don't know, I'm gonna do my best not to throw out some baloney answer, but
Yeah, no,
that's
well, you can't. I mean, you're representing the business. If you don't know, you don't know. So, but
right.
you're also, leave them wanting more, and there's going to be a Diana part two if you were to come back
What I
with it.
can't, what I am excited about is the fact that we are building markets for recycled content. So it's
Yeah,
just
and
like a lot of what drives me personally is just pushing circularity and finding ways to design circular systems that fit with how we do life as a global economy today.
yeah, and so that I mean, and that's an important passion to have, but it's important discussion to have as far as creating an impact or having some sort of positive and or negative impact on not only the environment but society and the efforts of that circularity, right? So
Yep.
I mean, there's people who are as passionate, or dare I say even more passionate than you or myself, but their efforts and that passion are focused in such a way that is actually detrimental to the advancement of what we're trying to do. You know
Oh
what I'm
man,
saying? You're not
yes.
out there tying yourself to the front of a plow in Idaho Falls. You're figuring out a way to
No, well, and
to
that's so
advance this in a business capitalist sound way to make it happen, which is the solution. That's the only
right.
way the solution is going to work, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like, thank you so much for touching on that because that is one thing that you're right. Like, there are so many passionate people out there, and I love that passion. I love that drive. But the I think, but one of the biggest challenges that we face when we're trying to make sustainability normal is this perfect ideal. Like if it's not 100% perfect, then I'm not going to consider it. And like
Right.
in reality, that's never how we as a society have advanced any type of technology. It's always been incremental improvements over time, right? So like
Yeah.
the idea that the perfect is the enemy of good, or you know, I really espouse by that. And like I'm all about progress, not perfection. Like
No,
we'll get to
absolutely.
perfection through progress, but without that progress, we're never going to meet that 100%. So like why are we shooting for the ideal out of the gate? Let's work together to make it better over time. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with plastics.
Yeah, because if you sit there and try and get perfect, there are a lot of times you're never going to get there, and you're missing out on those positive steps forward. 20% improvement is 20% improvement, and let's take it and run with it and try and make it 21 and 22 and
Exactly.
23 and 24. And if you hit those little rabbits in sales, gather up the rabbits while you're hunting the elephants. We used to say, right? When you're gathering up those little milestones, eventually that milestone will turn into 1,000 miles, or
Exactly.
and then you'll start making these leaps and bounds because you're moving forward. And I
Exactly.
mean, there's a bunch of adages that you could, if you're an entrepreneur and you're waiting for the perfect product, then you're never going to get there. Like you said,
Right.
analysis of paralysis, perfection kills good. I've heard people say, look, if you don't look back at like the first product or first of your business that you started and are slightly embarrassed, then you waited too long to launch it.
Right. It's so true though.
Right.
It's so true. For sure.
It's absolutely crazy. So some of the important aspects of what you're doing, because so many people fail at, because they don't see, or they're not thinking along business lines or the people that they're talking to, right? Like you
Mhm.
said, you know, there are goals, and there are reasons why they have those goals, right? The people you're selling to,
Right.
right? And you can't just sell to the people whose goal is to be more sustainable,
No, that doesn't work in
because you
today's
you
day and
you
age.
lose on a huge market. Can you speak to that a little bit? I mean, the light went off. I mean, I could give you my opinion, but I think
Well, I
we're
mean, if
fairly
you look
well
at
aligned
like,
on that, right?
right, well, and this is my perspective today. The way that I'm seeing sustainability integrated more into daily life is by improvement of the overall product. And then a little, oh, by the way, it is more sustainable. Like I
Yeah,
love the idea of improving things to be more sustainable, but if that product doesn't do what it's intended to do in the first place, it's never going to sell. Like you have to make a product
yeah.
that
I'm not going to
works.
lose. I'm not going to use natural deodorant if I walk around offending everybody.
Right, exactly. Like, okay, cool. I love that this laundry detergent is plant based. Does it clean my clothes? If it doesn't clean my
Yeah,
clothes, like what's the point in doing it? So like
exactly.
that is definitely a big area. The performance is something that is still incredibly key. It's
Yeah.
vital. It's a part of like the triple bottom line when you're thinking about a product working well in today's market, whatever that market may be.
But then it's also the effort to introduce your solution into the product you're trying to implement. So I mean, there's
Yeah,
different ways to look at it, right? Like we're talking about, make a new deodorant or make a new soap or a new bottle or whatever. If it doesn't work right, even if it costs less, you're not going to get anywhere. If it does work right and it costs more, you're not going to get anywhere anyways. You show me all the studies you want, and all that other kind of stuff, and I'll show you the other studies that say they're full of crap,
yeah,
right? 70% of people spend 10% more for something that is sustainably packaged, except when they actually put them in a store. Then they don't.
right,
you,
right,
they
right.
just don't. And,
Well,
and
like
the point is this: and in business, it's even more important because businesses aren't in business to be sustainable, right?
exactly. Exactly. They embrace sustainability because a lot of consumer reports show that that's where the purchasing power is going right now. Like I was just
It
looking at a
is.
consumer report from I think it was Capital One last year. 87% of consumers globally has shifted their purchasing habits to be more sustainable. So like that's a lot of why businesses are doing it. It's about telling the story. Like true, I love it. You do have some great CEOs out there and real business leaders that are doing it for the fact of doing it. That's great. They're the early starters in this industry. a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon because they're seeing that it sells and it's valuable and it's what people want. So telling the
Yeah.
story, yeah,
Yeah. Is incredibly important. It has to be. But there's the juice has to be worth the squeeze. There has to be a positive ROI because that's why they're in business.
I love
And
that.
even and so if they don't have a a a motivation that is external, like tax or a mandate or whatever it happens to be, right? Legislation or whatever, they're not going to do it
Right,
unless there's an ROI. And
right,
even when there is that mandate, et cetera, it doesn't mean, oh, great, now I can start selling to all these people. No, 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 no.
yeah,
They're going to find the one that still produces an ROI or has
right.
the least negative impact on their bottom line. Bottom line, period. EBITDA,
Well,
period.
and
That's
okay,
all that matters. They're
I'm actually
not.
gonna
They're, go ahead, push back. I want you
I'm
to.
gonna
I'm
push
trying.
back on
I'm
that.
trying to
I'm
go
gonna
as
push
far as
back
I
on that.
can to get an argument. Let's go.
No, I love it. I love it because like what I am specifically seeing in my current lane and in my lane in general, like under okay, I'll preface this with everybody has a personal bias. This is what I'm seeing. This is my own experience. So there may
Fantastic.
be
I love it.
plenty of people out there that don't see this or don't agree, but I will actually push back on the ROI piece because the amount of people I see switching to um, for example, a packaging solution that may not have the same ROI, it just has the consumer demand, is
Mm-hmm.
extremely, it's almost like shooting yourself in the foot. And like, so just looking at specifically like paper versus plastic packaging. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say, I love paper packaging. I got a lot of great friends in the industry. It does absolutely have its value and its place. But if you're
It's
looking
also
at
worse
like
than plastic.
it has such a higher carbon footprint than plastic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but
Like,
what people don't understand, it's actually
yeah.
worse than
And
plastic. So.
Amazon, like making this huge switch to paper packaging, to recycled paper packaging, it's costing them like 4 times more than what they could
It's a
do.
huge. The only reason they're doing that though is because, like you're saying, and that's what I would argue is market demand is an improvement in ROI, right?
That is a good point. But if we're looking at the bottom line in terms of the cost and the efficiency, are you going to hit that same end game ROI as you would if
Maybe it's a long play, right? So you're capturing more market share, and then you get the ROI. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where people are having a reactive response because the consumer thinks that paper is more sustainable. So let's all switch to paper. Like F
Well, I
plastic,
mean,
it's in our
you know
oceans. It's too much to
that.
deal with. Like, and I get it. I
Here's what I
totally
want.
do.
Here's what I want you to do, Diana. I want you to beat them on price, and I want you to beat them on quality, and I want you to beat them on service. And if you can't, I want you to lie about it and call it marketing.
Well, I can tell you what, we can absolutely beat on price. And in terms of performance, like there's one of the favorite case studies we have is on specifically on film. So like by
Yeah,
adding 25% of our plant-based material to just your standard film,
yeah.
it not only reduced the carbon emissions by that direct 25% of our
Oh
carbon
wow.
neutral product, but
Yeah.
the product performance, it made it stronger. It made it have a bigger dart strength, and as a result they were able to down gauge by an additional 25%. So they used 25% less original material plus
I mean, you got ROI
25%
all
of
over the
product.
place.
I know, like you're using less material, you're cutting your carbon emissions, it's having a better performance overall, but because there's this PEF bias, this perceived environmental friendliness of well, because it's plastic, it's bad,
It's bad. Yeah.
then we're missing out. We're missing out on a lot of opportunities.
Well,
So
and that's what I mean by if you can't beat them by all those things, then it's marketing, and so you lie. There's people don't understand. I mean, right? You lie and you just call it marketing, or you become a lobbyist and you go there and get Congress to lie for you, or
I know,
right,
I know.
which is
Oh my
pretty easy to
gosh.
do. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's all kinds of things where you just can't believe everything that you read, and if somebody's pushing you to do something, yeah, follow the money.
Oh,
But
100%.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
you use your head just because I agree with you 100%. You said something that I want to ask you about, and then I have something else follow up, and I have a bunch more. But what the hell's dart strength? What's that? Did they actually throw darts at it?
Pretty much. So you take a little plastic sample, you put it in
Yeah.
like this little pin. Instead of going sideways, you're going down. But yeah, you put a
Uh huh.
dart with a certain amount of weight on, and you drop it, and you see at what
If it
density
punctures.
it actually punctures. Yeah, it's one of the few tests I know about actual plastics. How they test plastics for
I
performance.
tell you what they should do is they should just follow me around when I go to the self checkout.
Yep, there
Okay,
you go.
because I'm gonna find the strength, the maximum on that bag. It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, for
I,
sure, for sure. Oh,
I've
I
never.
believe it,
Oh
100%.
yeah, no, I will find it every time I go. I'll find it.
Me, I've just got a load of like 200 of them that I use for my cat litter and all of my little waste bin liners because even though I am a
Yeah.
sustainability professional, it's tough for me to just remember to bring them back to the store drop off for that
No, I
recycling.
get you. I get
It's
it. Yeah, yeah,
tough.
yeah. The okay, so the other part of this is the ability for the product in the manufacturing and what you guys do to be a really a drop in solution, right? It was what they have to perform more investment into their infrastructure of their production to make it happen, and there's another huge barrier, right?
Well, it actually is drop in
To
ready.
many, maybe not to yours, but to many
Yeah,
solutions of people that I can't
yeah.
get it to take on. Well, it's got to be as drop in as possible, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like one of my old bosses, he put it perfectly. Make me look good and make it easy for me. That's what the people down.
Hundred
That's what
percent.
your clients want. Make me look good and make it easy for me. If you're going to make it complicated, I'm out. And that's one reason why we do work really well with existing systems because like again, it's just being pragmatic. Like you can't ask somebody to invest $6 million in new tooling for your product or your solution to work. Like work with people where they are and make it work better within that existing system. That's what we try to do.
So, so are you guys? I imagine I used to work with this company called Carry Ingredients out of Wisconsin, and it was
Hey,
really
that's where I'm
interesting
at.
because yeah, okay, yeah, that's right, you're Madison, right?
Madison. Madison.
Yeah, but so Carry Ingredients wasn't that far from there. I mean, it was in the state, so and it wasn't way up in the dells like by lacrosse or anything. But uh, it was my first exposure to a whole new world of the fact that there are huge buildings that have industrial kitchens in them, and all they're doing is creating new recipes for restaurants. Right?
Oh
So
yeah.
like the secret 7 herbs and spices for KFC. Yeah, they had
Yep.
that. Right?
Yep.
They did that stuff, and they sold all those things. They did all those kinds of things. Are you guys doing that as well? I mean, is that part of your marketing and your research and that type of thing? Is to so you can give somebody the secret recipe for that pen
I mean,
to
that's a
use it,
really
or
good
do you
question.
work with the actual manufacturer and then you figure out what that blend is?
Yeah, we work with the manufacturer, figure out what the blend is. Really, we say like, what's your goals? Are you trying to
Yeah,
get a product that does better in this sense? Are you trying to reduce your costs? Like, tell us your goals from the get go, and then
yeah.
we will work with your team, with your manufacturers to find the solution that does that. So like, yeah, our R&D is working on a ton of different solutions. One of the coolest ones, um, in terms of when we think of like recipes, I think the analogy
Okay.
lays over is plastic products, right? Where can we find
But it's the
solutions in
same recipe.
everyday
It's
plastic?
chemistry, man. I mean, baking and polymer science are very similar. It's all
They
chemistry,
are. It is. It
right?
is. Oh my gosh. And that's like the actually my favorite analogy to use for people that don't understand plastics, and I don't either. Like this is my first actual role in the plastics industry, so I'm learning as I go. But I love
It's a
bread
great
as
first.
the
You're
analogy.
learning a lot for your first day. You're
I'm
doing
trying.
fantastic.
But plastic is like bread. Like there are so many. It's a simple idea, but it's actually
Yeah.
really complex in its structure. And like, how many different types of bread are there out there? There's like so many across the world. But you take all these similar-ish ingredients, you work with them in different ways, and you get all these different types of bread, whether it be sourdough or rye or sweet rolls or shortbread. Like plastic is very similar. We all think of it as plastic, but when you actually get into what's it made out of and how is it made, its structure and its qualities are totally varied and different. So I actually
Oh
I
my
love
gosh,
that
and that's what
analogy.
makes it so difficult to recycle, though.
Oh yeah, I know it's
I
tough.
mean, a very small amount of people know that there's these seven symbols, these seven types, and even fewer can name what any one of those numbers besides one is associated with.
Well, and most people don't
Right?
know that that recycling symbol isn't actually meant, it wasn't designed to be a recycling symbol. It was meant to, as a pure way to categorize different plastics. And
Well,
it's
the numbers are, yeah,
right.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah. The number, but I
Exactly.
mean, the triangle around it with the arrows is absolutely recycling.
No, it is. And it is now a recycling symbol, but like the
It
history of
wasn't
that
intended
symbol,
to. Yes, the
yes.
codes were not intended. Yeah, right,
Yes.
right. It
Exactly.
is a resin
Exactly.
identification code, an RIC,
Yes,
which drives me
exactly.
crazy when people say, "What's the RIC code?" You mean
Yeah.
what's the resin identification code?
Yeah. Right. Right.
It's just an RIC. But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But then what further to that, what people don't understand is that there's millions of just number one,
Oh yeah. Well, and also, and
right?
like,
PET is not PET is not PET.
right,
There's so many different variables that are out there based on how you want it to perform,
right, exactly. And
right?
people don't realize that, like, you can't recycle everything that just has that recycling symbol on it. Like most
No,
recycling
no,
systems are,
your community has to recycle it, right?
yeah,
You
what
could
and
if your community accepted it because it's
yes,
all recyclable.
exactly. Like
But is
it's
the infrastructure there? Yeah.
it's a regional infrastructure difference, and there's very few systems here in the states that are set up to accept all seven. Most only accept numbers one and numbers two. Those are the two most common
Yeah, I don't think I know
that I
anybody who
personally see.
accepts all seven. I
Yeah,
mean, there's different programs that are out there, right? So, like Hefty was doing, I think Indorama now has a bag it and recycle it thing. Throw everything in a plastic bag, bring it to us, and we'll do it. But I mean, that's they're working on advanced recycling, chemical
yeah,
recycling type of stuff, which you got a whole bunch of nut jobs that'll be out there protesting that as well. Um, but I mean, and it's crazy because they're literally just doing research. They're not saying, "Hey, this is the end all be all," but there's promise there, so let's try and move forward progressively, like you and I
right.
always we talk about. But I challenge anybody who's listening to this that doesn't understand what we're talking about as far as performance. Pick up a Pepsi bottle, open it, a full one, and open it, and pick up a Smart Water bottle and open it, and feel the difference. They're both PET.
Yep. So different
One
though,
at
right?
Yeah, one at 30,000 feet will just crush in your hand and water the whole top of the plane because if you've ever
Right.
done that with a smart water,
Yeah.
right? It'll just, or or just go down the pet food aisle in a grocery store, and go down the detergents aisle. There's a reason you don't smell any of those pet foods. And there's a reason why you smell every one of those laundry detergents, even though they're both in plastic containers,
Right.
because they
Exactly.
want you to. It's because they
Exactly.
want you to smell it or they don't. And they're
Yep.
both the same plastic, but with a little bit different formulation to allow that odor to escape or not.
Well, yes, right? And that's like where it's actually wild. Like it's so amazing how we've been able to engineer these just improvements and solutions over time. Like the plastic salad bag, that thing
Yeah,
made actual bagged salad a reality in life. Like before that, lettuce and greens, they were not something commonly found on store shelves because it couldn't breathe properly in the bag and it would just turn to slime and mush. But they were able to do
right.
what seems like a single layer is like a 7 layer, like, R&D genius idea that allows this green to breathe and allows it to like retain the gases that it needs to stay fresh long enough for us to actually eat in today's global food system, which is like that's the kind of thing that just blows my mind and really amazes me with how people are adding improvements and just engineering for better.
And it is amazing. And I have to say, my wife and I love the bagged salads. They're fantastic ones. If anybody wants to hit me up, I'll tell you which ones are the best
Oh yeah.
because I'm a fine connoisseur of them, and they're fantastic.
They're convenient. I absolutely love that. If I can go out into my garden and pick one, then that is definitely what I will always opt for. But man,
Sure,
when I'm in a pinch, like a pepper
they're
arugula
fantastic.
on the go, it saved my life so
Yeah,
many times.
it is. And everybody else is like, we got to get rid of all plastics. Okay, just think about that and apply what we just said in your life.
Yeah.
Our quality of life and our even our health systems would not be in existence of what they are now without polymer sciences, without
Yep.
plastics, without it.
It's true.
It is not the devil. It's how we handle them
Yeah,
that is wrong,
exactly. It is
right?
how we manage them in today's day and age. That is the issue. Absolutely. Like we're talking about recycling as a challenge. Think about this globally. I think it's like I'm probably gonna get the statistic wrong, but there's a significant percentage of the world. I think it's like 20% of people don't even have garbage collection, let alone
Oh,
recycling or
you as far
composting.
as percent of population, you're probably way too low.
Probably. I'm being conservative with that guesstimate.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I'm 100%. I mean, Ocean Plastic Technologies out of South Africa, Durban, South Africa, and now OPT USA, which is what I run.
yeah.
The original and what is still going on are micro recycling pods in 20-foot ocean containers put into rural South Africa and rural Africa, where the waste stream is literally a stream.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. You know? Like we got to
That's
think
where the
about
garbage goes.
yeah. And I think that's the part that like I need to be more patient with. I get easily frustrated by it because at least in the corporate world, I see so many people saying, "Well, I need to make it recyclable." And that's me doing my part. And if I make it recyclable, then I'm done. Like let alone does it actually get recycled? Let alone does it actually get thrown away? Like how are we handling that on a global perspective? Like is that really the end all be all solution, or can we engineer it to be less impactful on the environment from the get-go? And that's one really cool thing I will say about new plastic in general. It is actually marine biodegradable in term and as well as certified compostable for both home and industrial scenarios. And
So
starch is just cool like that.
your product is home compostable.
Yeah,
Because
new plastic.
most people
Yes.
don't understand if it's compostable. Most times, it doesn't mean you can just throw it in your compost pile.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't
Because
mean that. It means it has to go to a specific composting facility that does it in a specific way. But what you're
yes.
saying is your additive at 100% of just your additive will compost in a home
Yep. Yep.
thing.
Yep. Exactly. And this is me getting
Gotcha.
into like my composter knowledge. So like when we're talking about the
No,
difference
that
between
is significant. That is significant because people don't understand that. I mean, you are not causing something to have to follow the current single stream, which most things when it says this is compostable, it still has to go through the same inefficient infrastructure that we have now,
right.
right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So like that's one solution we could explore is hey, you want to make something more home compostable? Let's explore that solution because new plastic itself can actually break down at that more ambient, lower temperature. Like
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
essentially just starch, and microbes love starch. They will eat and eat and eat starch for days. So
I like them when they're fried. Deep fried
oh,
starches
me
are
too.
really
That's
good.
my favorite starch. Like, oh, please give me a whole plate of potatoes and I will be so happy. But, microbes love them too. So by
Yeah.
mixing our polymers in, and what we have is like, we have like something like crazy, like 50 patents globally that we mix that starch in at a more homogeneous level in that base formula. So there's more plant-based material, there's more starch dispersed throughout the whole item. And that's what makes it better for composting. It makes it marine biodegradable. Um, One of the cool studies that we've done is actually we've partnered with one of the regional aquariums in eastern Idaho to test different like plastic films made with a certain amount of our material in it. And and it really does help to improve that biodegradation over time. Now, it's not a lab test, but we do have lab tests showing how new plastic improves biodegradation of
Mm.
certain polymer formulations. But it's the closest to a real world test and a real world application to say, all right, if a pollutant makes it into the ocean, and if we can help it naturally actually break down in 5 years versus 500, isn't that a step in the right direction? Like, isn't
Yeah,
that a
100%.
solution
Yeah,
that's worth
yeah. It's
exploring?
not. Yeah, it's not well, it's not the end all solution, but is
No,
absolutely the direction that you want to continue to explore for sure.
exactly.
Absolutely.
And there's no silver
And
bullets when it comes to sustainability. There's no end all
not yet.
solution. Like, recycling
No,
is
they're
key,
not.
but it can't just be recyclable.
No,
Composting
and
is key. It
and
can't
you hit
just
on it.
all be compostable. It has to work synergistically, you know?
Well, and you hit on where it is. It all begins. Well, I mean, it does. It's a circle, and Schuhart says it's a circle, and then others turned it into a cyclone. Plan, do, check, act, and all that other kind of stuff. But
Right,
recycling is that. I mean, right now we think of recycling as a circle or triangle, right?
hmm,
Of arrows, whatever you want to call it, right? I don't
right.
know why it's a triangle instead of a circle. Maybe somebody can help me out with that. Why there are 3 points to recycling and not just a circle with a myriad of points,
Somebody in the
infinite
marketing
number.
thing said we need a refresh.
Maybe it should be an infinite. It's not infinity, but what I'm saying is that one of the certainly points of entry, right, from
Mhm.
feedback, plan, do, check, act, all that kind of stuff, design. Because you hit on that. You hit on design. You're designing products, and we've designed products to last forever and give people a huge value, right? They purchase. Then there was, designed obsolescence, or not obsolete, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Planned
you, you know,
obsolescence. Yeah.
yeah, planned obsolescence, right? Which came from, I learned from actually the light bulb was
Mm.
designed that way and kind of started all that, right? And now the design needs to be okay. It needs to, okay, what about next life? And I'm saying that because somebody taught me, they said, don't say end of life because that's ridiculous. That's a mental roadblock. There isn't an end of life to this cup.
I love that. Next life.
And
I love that.
it's next life, it's next use, it's whatever. When this is done here and it becomes a new raw material, a previously extracted raw material is another way somebody else said it. What's the design in this to assist it to then become something else the next time? So when you produce something the first time, understanding what is its next life
Hmm. Yes.
is
Yes.
important, right?
Yes. Exactly. Oh my gosh, it's so important too. But then also the question is what other core pieces are needed to make that next life a reality. Like, you're
Exactly.
right. Design is key, but like, so you just held up a glass mug, which is a great example. Like, glass is a perfect example of the challenges that we face because it is theoretically an infinitely recyclable material. The problem is we
Right.
don't have glass infrastructure recycling set up to support it. So like, it
No,
in
but there's
terms of,
private industry trying to make that happen. In fact, there's one here in
oh, I
Chattanooga
hope
that's doing a
so.
fantastic job of trying to make that happen. Yeah.
Really? That,
Oh
see,
yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
me heartened for sure.
Yeah. No, there are people out there struggling to make that stuff happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
Absolutely.
used to
Absolutely.
exist, from what I understand. But I've heard some great solutions out there. Like, there's a company down in Florida that's taking glass and actually turning it into sand to help, restore certain beaches in the area, which is great, and help with stormwater. So
Mm-hmm.
like, there
Mm-hmm.
are great solutions out there. But I love that. I love thinking about it like, what's the next life? Because you need to design for it, and you need to think about what happens to that thing once it's no longer that thing, right? Once a
Yeah,
can
yeah,
is no longer
exactly.
can. Once a cup is no longer
Exactly.
a cup. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
key.
and how easily it can be done, right? So I mean, like packaging, the plastic packaging, what which is one of the industries that you're in and touching, obviously, even the cosmetic, the lip balm tubes or
For
whatever,
sure. Yeah.
is it's packaging. It's a useful product, but it's packaging. The useful product is actually the balm, not the thing that's holding it. But um, how do you design that to be easily recycled into something else, right?
Right.
And
That's
that's what
the
you guys are working on, right? And there's many of those, right? Because there's people that are, oh man, the people that I run into that are the things that they're doing from sustainable, all the sustainable cutlery and bottles and cups, plates, forks, knives, all that type of stuff for professional sports venues.
Oh
I
yeah.
got people that are doing that, to people that are do nothing but work with beauty salons to get all their plastics recycled and figure out and work with the producers of those to understand how to change that packaging
Yeah.
in ways to make them more sustainable. There's so much effort being done in this area. And it has nothing to do, people, with whether you believe in global warming or not.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It simply has to do with like, hey, do you like having fresh water to drink? Do you like not
Yeah,
coughing because you have like
yeah.
no air pollution? Like it's basic human needs. Like we need the planet to function in order for us to exist. And
Yeah, it has to
saying,
function in a certain way. And that's a great point, because I argue that all the time. Look, we're not saving the environment. We want to keep the environment's going to be here long after we screw it up and it doesn't support us anymore. We're
yeah,
trying to keep it in a way that it'll support us. That's the
right.
goal. Because
Exactly.
the environment will
Exactly.
still
Like
be here.
this is really what I tell people. It's like, "Oh man, you're such a tree hugger." Okay, yeah, I do love hugging trees. But I'm not doing it so I can hug a tree. I'm doing it so that I can live, so that my communities can live, so that my kids can breathe healthy and be good. And it goes beyond just saying, "Well, it's out of my hands. I've done my part." And like, true. There is a certain amount, at least for me, sanity wise, that's like we all have our limitations. I can't be perfect. I can't remember to take my soft plastic bags back to recycle them, but I do what I can, and I go beyond what is just me to help the people in my life, to help the people in my communities, to do better in the industry, to show support, because stepping beyond just myself and what my goals are and helping other people reach their goals, that's how I see the return coming back to me. It's a long play, and it's what I think, man, if like just corporate everyday business could take more of, is say, hey, I'll take a little bit more time out of my busy schedule to help support your goals. That will come back to them if you allow that partnership to grow and to meet goals together. It's the idea that we can do so much more together than we could if we just stayed in our own lane and said, this is my goal, I'm working on this. So yeah, hopefully I can motivate some people to foster some partnerships and take a little bit more time, because it really does have a positive feedback in the long run for everybody involved.
Very, very well said. I mean, you're talking about responsible or conscious capitalism,
Yep.
and you mentioned, am I a tree hugger? Yeah, not the tree hugger that I grew up with in the
No, very
'70s and
different.
'80s,
Very different,
right? Very, very, very different. Because I mean, and that's the thing is what I try and promote is to show people, look, you can be a capitalist, you can be a business person. There is a huge blue ocean of business opportunities and
Hmm.
entrepreneurial opportunities that are sustainability based,
Right.
right?
Well, and
Sustainability
yes,
does not
and
have to be a time suck or a value suck. It can
yes.
actually be business 101.
Right. And I think more people are understanding that when you take the time to invest in an improvement, like sustainability wise, it actually does have an ROI later down the line. Like if you
Mm.
invest in renewable energy, you're spending less on energy. If you make your operations more efficient, then you're saving money on that bill. If you're losing using less water, that's lower costs. Like sustainability over the long term does actually translate to lower costs. So that's where it's interesting, because you have not only that, again, if we're going back to ROI, but you also have the story to tell along with it, which actually, improves the product in the eyes of the consumer. So you're reducing your
Mm.
costs, you're adding to the value, and that, in a sense of, yeah, triple bottom line economy, is going to actually sustain your business better than, I don't know, personally, I think any specific marketing gimmick ever would.
I mean, and I agree with you 100%. But I would argue, and I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to point out that within what you just said, if you start to unpack it, the sustainability argument it goes three different ways actually, right?
Yeah.
So if you are business 101 and you're lean manufacturing and you're trying to reduce all of these things, that's sustainability, folks,
Yeah.
right? And if you're trying to secure your raw materials in a cheaper manner, more efficient manner, that's sustainability,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're trying to appeal to the marketplace to gain market share, 87% of the people want sustainability.
Yep.
It's all three. It is not you give up profits to be sustainable.
Yeah.
It's not you give up functionality and business practices in order to market sustainability and go, well, it sucks. Our stuff costs 20% more, but people say they'll buy it. No, it can cost the same or cheaper
Yep.
if you follow the principles of what we're talking about.
Yep.
We're not talking about, hey, buy Diana's product because it's going to make your stuff cost more. It's going to be more, it's less efficient. You got to invest in all kinds of new infrastructure. It's not drop in. That type. None of that's true.
Yep.
It makes your product better. It improves your efficiencies. It improves your sustainability. And it sure puts a boost in your marketing. It hits all three, right?
Yep.
And that's the opportunity that's out there all over the place, not just at BioLogiQ,
No, it's
but
so true.
you got, right?
It's so true. It's so true, honestly. And like, oh man, I hope there are people out there saying, all right, business as usual just isn't working anymore. Like if you look at, I don't know, it's been years since I took this class in college, but I actually took a creativity class, which was so much fun. And they related it back to business by showing, I think the average lifespan of a business was something like 45 years. Like in 45 years, a business would start and it would die. And if you look at
Mm.
the businesses that have had real success, Amazon, Apple, the big names out there, what have they done? They continuously innovate. They continuously push. They don't get stuck in the rut. They don't get stuck in the same business as usual. It's about finding where is it going? Where is technology going? And how can we utilize that to an advantage and provide a new great service? And that's really what I see as like bioplastics in general. Like it is the way to still keep all of the value that plastic brings to us as a society from a convenience perspective, from a low carbon perspective, from a lightweight efficiency perspective, from a medical and health safety perspective, but start to improve and address the concerns that we have related with it, which is, carbon, which is waste. Like there are solutions out there, and really by adjusting to using renewable sources, I think that's key. And one step to get us there is absolutely using what we have rather than creating virgin. Like that's absolutely part of the process of making plastics circular, improving the sustainability index over time. And like, oh yeah, and by the way, it also works better. It also happens to perform better. Like there's a lot of opportunities out there. Yeah, I could talk about it for probably longer than your audience wants to hear.
Maybe, but we're starting to run out a bit of time here. But what I wanted to explore a little bit was your source for the starch, right?
Yeah.
So there's when people look at different sources of energy or natural fibers, that type of stuff. What is the impact on the environment of sourcing that, right? Does that take away from, are you planting more fields and taking away from livestock? Is it depleting the environment? People look for negative impacts everywhere,
They
right?
do. And that's one thing I want to,
Even in this.
yeah.
So what is that source? Let's touch on that a little bit.
Well, I'm actually really happy you bring that up because that is a common
Fantastic.
misconception.
I was thinking you were going to say, hey, no comment.
No,
No.
like actually that like this is a really good it's a common misconception that we run into is, well, aren't you taking away food from people? No, we're actually
Right,
not.
exactly, and that's the point. What's the negative of your sourcing, or what is the source? What's the impact there? Go ahead.
So we're not. The short answer is we're not taking away food from people. It's actually an opportunity because we can use a waste product. So when we were talking about potatoes earlier, right? Let's say I go to the store
Yeah.
tomorrow and I buy like 3 bags of tater tots. Well, in the processing of those tater tots, there's a lot of starch that gets wasted just through the global agricultural food processing system. So we can take
Okay.
that wasted starch and use it as a base material for our product. So we're not taking away from food, we're actually helping to reduce global food waste. So it's a great benefit. Um, and no, we're not taking away food from people that need it. That's probably one of the biggest things
And
that I'm like,
you're not
no,
creating a whole new way to process it. You're already taking the waste out of a process that's already happening.
exactly. Yes, exactly. And that's where it's such a great opportunity. If you look at the bioeconomy in general, like
Yeah. Yeah.
where, especially, let's just focus on U.S. farmers because that's what I'm most well versed in. Where is their
Right.
food that they're growing going? Um, Bioplastics is an extremely small percentage of it. It's like
Right.
1%. The largest
Yeah.
percentages, I believe, and I could be wrong about this. So if anybody else listening out there like wants to correct me, please contact me. Let me know. I'm all about educating myself better. But a large
Yeah.
percentage is what you touched on: food waste or food for our global meat system or meat production, and then
Hmm.
biofuels. So like the ethanol that when you go to the gas tank and you get gas and it says 10% ethanol, that's like that percentage of ethanol is, I think, what I want to say like 20 to 25% of what our food, what our US ag farmers are producing for. So
Which we can get into that all day long, but
I know,
it's more
I know,
expensive. It's less fuel economy. It
I know.
burns less efficiently. It's an awful subsidy that should never have happened.
I know, I know. But if we're
It's
thinking about, okay,
so
how can we help
bad.
US farmers? How can we support rural
Yeah.
industries, especially here in the States? Bioplastics is
Yeah.
a great way to do that because we can help grow more food, use more waste, support these small industries, and over time transition to a renewable based material that we use, not actually eating, but related and around our food and in our daily lives, like
Well,
all the time.
it's a great point, and one of the things that I wanted to touch on real quick, and I don't know if you impact this or not because I'm not, the form of the starch that you're ingesting into your operations, into your processing. I'm not sure what that is, right? But the biggest problem that we have in landfill is biomass. It's food waste.
Oh yeah.
It's not
Oh yeah.
plastics. It's not steels. It's not that stuff.
Yep.
It's the food that we're
Yep.
putting into them that is bad. And if
100%.
we can utilize that food to do something else like you guys are doing, that's a huge positive. Right?
Yep. Oh man. Oh man. Well, and yes, let's connect the dots here right at the end because this is also probably one of the most passionate areas for me in just my career is like getting food waste out of
Yeah.
landfills. If there's one thing that we can do to help curb carbon emissions, to help just to be better humans on the planet, it is to get organics out of the landfill because in the
Hmm.
landfill they create methane. And methane is a greenhouse gas that is 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So if we can take that organic waste and compost it, then it's making CO2, which again, it's still a greenhouse gas, but at least it's not 25 times the global warming potential. And it's turning it into a biomass that then we can use in our gardens to grow more food. And by making the plastics around our food compostable, that is really the key to helping getting those organics out of the landfill.
Yeah. And if you're running that and moving it through an intentional process, you have the opportunity to do something with those gases.
Yes, there are definitely
like capture them and not let them just leach into the atmosphere. They can be
yes,
captured.
and that is one thing we're really
Um,
thankful for is like a lot of landfills are starting to implement RNG plants where they're capturing as much of that methane
yep.
as they can and turning it into
Hmm.
renewable natural gas. Like great solution as well. It's one more of the bullets in the case of silver bullets when we're thinking about how can we improve global sustainability.
Well, there's a lot of zombies out there. Wait a minute. The silver bullets kill the zombies, or is that just
Werewolves.
werewolves?
Yeah, you got to hack the
Okay,
heads off
oh,
the
close.
zombies, from what I know.
Oh, is that right?
I
You
think
have a lot of.
so.
Are there a lot there in Idaho? Or no, you're not in Idaho. You're Madison,
I'm
Wisconsin.
in Madison. Yep.
I've met a
Thankfully
lot of
not. Just
zombies
the
at some
ones that are
frat
on the
parties
screens
there,
all
but
day. I'd say those are the zombies I see most commonly.
there you go. Awesome. Hey, where are people and who should be going to check this out? You can find you at what is your Diana? Well, if you put in Diana Thompson, you're going to find you on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, well, Diana Thomas. Yeah, I changed my
Yeah.
my maiden name is Diana Lloyd-Jones. So if you're on LinkedIn, check me out there. I the limited amount of social media I also do is on Instagram. I'm at mycelium dream because I'm an Earth mama. So go check me out there. And then yeah, BioLogiQ. Go to biologic.com. That's biologic spelled with an IQ at the end because we're trying to be smart about the ways that we approach plastic solutions. So yeah, we're trying absolutely. And then we have a company Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram that I help oversee as well. So yeah, thanks so much. This
It's
has been awesome.
fantastic stuff. It has been, man. An hour goes by like boom,
Oh my
doesn't
gosh,
it?
so
It's
fast,
really fast.
so fast.
Fantastic, though. I'm glad we got the hookup. Thank you so much for coming on. And everybody else, thank you for downloading and watching the Sustainiacs. We'll see you next time. Hey, peace and love, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey.